Hi, I'm Jason Hewlett, keynote speaker and in the Hall of Fame of speaking, and I'm going to teach you how to prepare an outline for a speech. When you're done with this video, you'll have the ability to create your outline so that you know where you're going within your effective speech. This is actually what I do when I speak, and so I'm going to share with you. I speak over 100 times a year. This is how I create my effective speeches and the outline procedure that I use. I hope you enjoy it. And number one would be commit to the outline. Don't wing it. I know that you probably think, hey, I can just stand up there and speak. And good for you if you think that you can do that. Most likely, it's really difficult for most people to do. So I would say commit to making an outline. And the reason for that is that then you won't get off course. So many people have the ability to just speak and then they go off on a tangent. An outline keeps you on the path, on the course. Don't wing it. Write your outline. Commit to it. Number two, every speech has an opening, a promise, a middle, and a close. So how do we know what goes where? Well, that's the trick with an outline. So with an outline, you could actually have a couple of different note cards that say, this is my opener, this is my promise, this is the middle, this is the close. It's up to you how you want to do this. But think of it this way. The opening is why they should listen to you now. The closing is why they should listen to you later after the speech is over. In other words, to follow you. So the opener should actually be your second best piece or story or material, whereas the closer should be your very best. Now, right in the middle is the meat. Yeah, so that's where your content goes. That's where big stories can be. That's where points and quotes will get there. But then, what about that promise I talked about? So let's say you do an opening story that's your second best story before the closing, which is your best. So now go into the promise. The promise is what you promise the audience will learn. Or it's the promise that you're going to deliver to them as the performer, the presenter, the speaker. All of these things matter. So you start with your opening statement or opening story, opening quote, you choose. Go into the promise, what they're going to get. Now the meat of the speech, which is the majority of it, and then the closing is the most interesting or best piece that you've got within the speech itself. So the third way to look at an outline is really the simplest way to look at it is this. You could do 3 points in a poem or 3 poems and a point. Now that might sound really simple, but yeah, it is. That's kind of nice. Imagine if all you have to come up with is 3 points and 1 really great poem or story. Or you maybe have 3 stories and 1 point. In my presentations, I like to share a couple of different things. I'll do 3 points with the promise to the audience, the promise to the family, the promise to the one. So those are my 3 points I'm giving. But then I have within them my different stories and musical pieces. I add different things in my speech. You get to add yours as well. But as an outline, I can literally just write the promise to the audience, and I know that that's where I'm headed next. So number 4, I want you to outline it so that you are able to fit within the time constraints. So let's say you get 45 minutes. If you could actually take apart your speech in terms of the opening, the promise, the meat and the middle, and then the closing. Let's say you have 45 minutes. Essentially, you have 3 points. You've got 15 minutes for each point, right? Well, no, because you've also got the opener, and then the promise, and then the closer. So now maybe you only have 12 minutes for your 3 points, and then you have to have time for your opening and closing. Does that make sense? Hopefully that does, because having those different things in your outline makes it so that you can say, I can take this from 12 minutes down to 8. I can move these things around. Having the outline makes that possible. If you're just winging it, trying to think it through, that's going to be really difficult to do while you're on stage. So number 5, I would outline the points, and I'd put them in my outline in the terms of, this is the point I want to make. And my friend Lou Heckler says it best that you want to state the point and then anchor it with a story. So Lou Heckler's a great coach. I would recommend you check him out. I also do some coaching on speaking. That's fun for both of us to do. But Lou Heckler's helped me in finding out, okay, this is my point and this is the anchor story. And so a lot of people don't want to just do an anchor story. They want to also do data points or some research, some referencing, maybe a graph or a chart. I don't do so many of the graphics and charts and data. What I like to do instead is I'll do the point, the story, and then a musical piece that supports it. So that makes it fun. For example, I'll talk about how accountants, and I'm just lumping accountants into this stereotype as a comedy piece. But I say, accountants are different than me. You know, if I go in for a hug on an accountant, they're like, you know, so everybody laughs there. And then I say, here's the difference between me and an accountant. Accountants laugh inside their body. And then they laugh. And I say, but I want my accountant to do my taxes or I'll go to jail. Whereas the accountant doesn't want to be on stage. But when I'm in front of the accountant, it's a hard thing because as a performer, I need them to laugh and give me some engagement. So then I go into my musical piece. I've given my point that accountants and I are different. I've given a story about my accountant and sometimes are examples when I've gone in for a hug. And then I'll do a musical piece. I'll say, this is actually a song from Simon and Garfunkel that I sing when I talk about performing for accountants. And then I go into, hello darkness, my old friend, I did a corporate show again. And it's the sound of silence. It makes accountants laugh their heads off because they know it's true. This is just my best way. And so on my outline, all I have to write is accountants, sound of silence. Then I have that song. I hope that helps. Hey, so before I move on to the next point, why don't you give this a like down below if you found any of this helpful? I appreciate it. So the 6th point would be to have an outline of just an outline, not the full lines. Don't make and write every single sentence out because then it's like you're writing out the entire talk. So what you want to do is just have a couple of little points. Just make sure that you know what they're going to be to jog your memory. Do your best not to write the entire line. Hey, if you have to write a quote out so you can remember it, that's fine. But in the outline, you want it to just be a brief overview on one page so you can look down at it and say, I got this. So number 7 would be with the outline in hand. You could even have another couple of papers that are like your notes and things. And I actually have made other videos about how to prepare effective notes for your speaking and your speeches. That's what's fun. If you want to subscribe to this channel, you can learn how to use notes. But I like to have my outline be one sheet, and then I can have other sheets that I can reference. Longer stories, maybe some quotes, some charts, some graphs. It's those references that I just can't fit onto an outline. And number 8, commit to the closing. When you commit to something as your closer, like I said at the very beginning here, we talked about the opener, the promise, the middle, and then the close. You need to commit to a close. Some people I've seen give an incredible speech and you're like, you're ready to give them a standing ovation, and then they just go, thank you, and walk off. And you're like, they're done. No, don't do that. Don't do that. You need to create something. Create a magical moment. Give them a story. Give them a great quote, whether it's a quote someone else said or you have created. I have a couple of friends that do this so great, and they leave the audience just elated with what they've done. I have a friend named Mark Sharonbrock. Yeah, it's a big name, but look him up, Mark Sharonbrock. If you go to nicebike.com, he talks about Harleys and riding bikes and how they always say, hey, nice bike. So he has this closer where he's done this incredible speech. Everyone's laughing the whole time. It's amazing. It's about connection and authenticity, all this greatness. Then he closes with a thing called Boom Ba Hey, where he actually conducts the audience singing with him. Boom Ba Hey. It's hilarious. They're all laughing. Everybody stands up, standing ovation. He gets his applause, he walks off. That's a cool close. My other friend, Clint Pulver. Clint Pulver is a rock star in the speaking industry, and he's only been around for a couple of years. It's amazing how fast his trajectory has been. Clint has on stage with him the whole time, and he never references it. A drum set, but it's hidden underneath a black cloth. And so finally at the end, he pulls this cloth off after he's made all these great points for managers and how to keep your employees around, because he wrote a book called I Love It Here. You need to check out Clint Pulver. He's amazing if you haven't seen him already. But he does this thing where he sits behind the drums and he does a huge drum solo and the crowd goes bonkers. It is what we call a capture the speaker on stage moment. Everybody films it pretty legit. And then he has the audience realize they have drumsticks under their seats and they're drumming either on the back of the seats, standing up, or on buckets that have been provided. He creates a huge experience. It's a true entertainment experience. Why do I share this? I say commit to the close because this is the last thing that they'll see of you. This is how they're going to remember you. This should be your strongest piece, that thing that they go, oh man, I want to see him or her speak again. And so, in terms of your outline, committing to that close and saying drums or boom ba hey or this or that story, that quote. Put that in your outline and commit to it. And so when I talk about committing to the close, let me just tell you how I like to close. I have a couple of different options because I actually have my iPhone on stage where I can press a music cue. And now this is one of my top secrets, so I hope you enjoy that I'm giving this to you. I'm gauging with the audience while I'm speaking. About halfway through, I know which musical number I'm going to close with. There have been times when I can tell in the middle of the speech, I'm not going to close with the musical number, that they just want the comedy, and so I'll close with the comedy piece, that I can just take the musical number out. But here's the difference between me and a lot of speakers. I have control on stage over what I'm going to do. Do you get that? It's pretty important. So to be able to have my iPhone on stage or a clicker or something that allows me to adjust right before I close, it's a pretty cool thing. I'll close generally with a song like, "And I think to myself, what a wonderful world." Or I'll close with, "Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight." And the audience holds up their phone and waves their lights. It's a really fun thing. Other times I'll close with a comedy piece. But I have these as like 2 or 3 different options that I can choose from while I'm going through my outline and I'm watching the audience response throughout. It's a pretty nice thing. And so I hope that as I've given you some of these tips, this will help you. But at the same time, realize that you can create a great outline. You don't want to wing it. You want to have a path. As you can see, I told you, I'm not winging the close. I know where I'm going. I just get to choose what I'm going to do. And so when it comes to writing your outline, I hope that you'll take the time to do that. I hope that also you'll check out some more of the videos that we've created for you. And so I created another video here on this channel called "How Long Before a Speech Should I Begin Preparing?" Some people don't even work on their speech. You want to start preparing at a pretty decent time, and I'll share that in another video. I hope this has been helpful. Please put in the comments what you've enjoyed. Thanks for joining me.